I was just an ordinary young woman, not wealthy, not powerful, but someone who believed in the simple pleasures of life. I grew up in a small town where money was always tight, but my parents taught me that kindness and empathy were worth more than anything money could buy. I had never expected anything extraordinary to come out of my life, at least. Not until that fateful day at the airport. It was a hectic morning. I had an important meeting to attend, one that I couldn't afford to miss. The clock was ticking, and the lines at security seemed endless. My heart raced as I navigated through the crowds, checking my watch every few seconds. I was running late, and I knew it. But in the midst of my rush, something stopped me. I saw an elderly man sitting on a bench, clutching his chest, his face contorted in pain. It was clear that he was in distress. The crowd around him seemed oblivious, going about their business. But I couldn't ignore someone in need. I approached him cautiously, asking if he was okay. His eyes locked with mine, a mixture of gratitude and pain in them. I could see that he was struggling to breathe. Without thinking, I pulled out my phone to dial for help, but he stopped me with a weak hand. "Please," he whispered. "Don't call anyone. Just sit with me for a while." And in that moment, I made a decision that would change my life forever. I sat down beside him, offering him comfort in a world that had seemingly forgotten how to care. I didn't know who he was or what he meant to anyone, but I knew that helping him was the right thing to do. Time seemed to stand still as we sat there. People rushed past, oblivious to the world around them, but I stayed. For the first time in my life, I wasn't thinking about deadlines or schedules. I wasn't worried about the meeting I was supposed to attend. I was present for him. And for me. After what felt like an eternity, the paramedics arrived. The elderly man was taken away, and I was left standing there, unsure of what had just happened. I had missed my flight, the meeting, and the opportunity I had been so focused on. But something inside me told me it didn't matter. I had done what was right. The universe had a way of putting people in the right place at the right time. Little did I know that simple act of kindness would set me on a path to success I had never imagined. As the days passed, I tried to get back to my normal routine. I had missed my flight and the meeting, but it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I couldn't shake the memory of the elderly man. His kindness, his gentle smile, and the way he had asked me to sit with him, it stayed with me. But what really stuck was the nagging question: why did I feel like something important had just happened? Weeks later, I received an unexpected email. It was an invitation to an exclusive business event in the city. The subject line caught my attention: a thank you from the CEO of the airline. Confused, I clicked on the email. As I read the message, I learned that the elderly man I had helped at the airport was none other than the owner of the airline I had been traveling with. In his email, he thanked me for my compassion and explained that he had been going through a rough patch in his life, but my kindness had given him the strength to keep going. He invited me to the business event as a token of appreciation. At first, I thought it was a joke. Who was I, a simple young woman with no business background, to attend an event like this? But something inside me told me that this was more than just a coincidence. This was my chance. I attended the event, nervous but determined. The man I had helped, now revealed to be a billionaire, was there. His presence was commanding, yet humble. He spoke about his journey to success, about the struggles he had faced, and the decisions that had shaped his life. As he shared his story, I felt something stirring inside me. This man, who had built an empire from nothing, wasn't just successful because of his business acumen. He was successful because he had learned to be kind, to be patient, and to recognize the importance of human connection. It dawned on me that success wasn't just about money or status. It was about the decisions we made every day, the small acts of kindness, the way we treated people, and the way we responded to life's challenges. The more I listened to him, the more I realized that I had a lot to learn, not just about business, but about myself. His story was a mirror, reflecting the potential within me to do more, to be more, and to change the course of my life. In that moment, I knew that my journey had just begun. After the business event, I stayed in touch with the elderly man who, I later learned, was named Richard. He became a mentor to me, teaching me the principles that had guided his success. He shared his wisdom freely, offering advice on everything from business strategy to personal growth. But he also taught me something more important, that success wasn't handed to anyone on a silver platter. It had to be earned through perseverance, hard work, and the ability to stay true to yourself. The road wasn't easy. I faced countless obstacles, both internal and external. I doubted myself more times than I can count. I had no formal education in business. I had no connections. And worst of all, I felt completely out of my depth. But Richard's words echoed. In my mind, the key to success isn't in what you have, it's in what you're willing to do to get it. So I began. I started small, working on side projects, learning from my mistakes, and constantly pushing myself to do better. But success didn't come overnight. There were failures, setbacks, and moments when I wanted to give up. There were times when I questioned my own abilities, when the weight of self-doubt almost crushed me. Yet each time I fell, I got back up. Richard's teachings had given me the resilience to keep going, even when the path seemed impossible. He taught me that failure wasn't the end. It was just a lesson in disguise. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was to embrace discomfort. Success, he told me, required stepping outside of my comfort zone, making difficult decisions, and doing things that scared me. It meant putting in the work when no one was watching, making sacrifices that others weren't willing to make, and never losing sight of my vision. Then one day, the breakthrough came. I had been working tirelessly on a new project, a business idea that I believed could change the world. It wasn't the kind of idea that would make me an overnight millionaire, but it was a passion project, something that spoke to my values and the lessons I had learned from Richard. I took a leap of faith, investing my savings into the project and launching it into the market. At first, things were slow. But then, slowly, people began to take notice. Word spread and my product gained traction. It wasn't long before I was approached by investors who believed in my vision. The money started coming in, but it wasn't the money that excited me, it was the impact. I had created something that was changing lives. My business grew, and with it, my influence. I became known as a self-made entrepreneur, someone who had built something from the ground up. Despite the odds stacked against her, Richard was there, guiding me through each step of the way. He had always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. And now, I was seeing the fruits of my labor. The success wasn't just financial. It was personal. I had grown into a person I never thought I could be: confident, resilient, and capable of achieving things I had once only dreamed about. As my business flourished, I realized something profound. Success wasn't about how much money I made or how many accolades I received. It was about the journey. It was about the lessons learned along the way, the people I met, and the lives I touched. I had built something meaningful, but the true reward wasn't the wealth I had accumulated. The reward was in the impact I was having on others. I was able to provide jobs, support causes I believed in, and give back to the community that had once given so much to me. Through it all, Richard remained by my side, a constant source of wisdom and encouragement. He had become more than just a mentor. He had become a friend, someone who had helped me see the world in a different light. He had taught me that the greatest success wasn't in what you achieve, but but in the lives you changed. As I look back on my journey, I am filled with gratitude. The path was not easy, but every challenge, every setback, and every triumph has led me to where I am today. I've learned that success is not a destination. It's a lifelong journey. Richard passed away a few years ago, but his legacy lives on in the work I do every day. He taught me that true success isn't about being the richest or the most famous. It's about living a life of purpose, kindness, and integrity. He showed me that the power of one simple act of kindness, one moment of compassion, can change everything. Now, I am not just a businesswoman or a self-made millionaire. I'm someone who understands that true success lies in the lives you touch, the people you help, and the difference you make in the world. And for that, I am forever grateful.